At its heart, my dad's two-act play, The Betrayed, is a good old-fashioned boy meets girl love story. You have Tack, a country boy from Paradise, California, and Grace, a city girl from Seattle, Washington, who meet, fall in love, and live happily ever after. However, that's not exactly how it turns out. The year is 1943, the US and Japan are at war, and Tack and Grace, along with 120,000 other Japanese Americans on the West Coast, have been forcibly removed from their homes and imprisoned in desolate incarceration camps located in the Badlands of America. Things are good at first as Tack and Grace meet at Tule Lake, get to know each other, and fall in love. But in February 1943, government authorities ordered every inmate 17 and older to answer a registration questionnaire which included these two controversial questions. Question 27, are you willing to serve in the armed forces of the United States on combat duty wherever ordered? Question 28, will you swear unqualified allegiance to the United States of America and faithfully defend the United States from any and all attacks by foreign or domestic forces, and forswear any form of allegiance or obedience to the Japanese emperor or any other foreign government, power, or organization? It's safe to say these so-called loyalty questions caused a split within our community so severe that it still exists to this day, over 77 years since it happened. Friends turned against friends, brothers fought against brothers, and couples like Tack and Grace were torn apart over whether to answer the questions yes, yes, or no, no. Were they loyal, patriotic Americans, or were they disloyal, good-for-nothing troublemakers? Most of you know my dad refused to answer the questions, which was interpreted as no-no answers to both, and for the rest of his life, he had to live with the stigma of being a no-no boy and was looked down upon by members of our own community as disloyal and one of those. But up until the very end, he held strong to his position and believed that his protest and dissent was indeed loyal and patriotic. And it was something he had to do to stand up for the rights of Japanese Americans and all Americans. But it bothered him that these questions of loyalty tore us apart. He had nothing against our Nisei veterans. In fact, he deeply respected what they did and felt bad that he was placed on opposite sides with them. And so he wrote this play, and by fairly telling both sides of the story through his characters Tack and Grace, his hope was for a reconciliation and a community healing. Now, I'm not sure we're there yet, but my hope is we can at least gain a better understanding of the situation they faced and of each other. With all that said, we now present to you the online premiere of The Betrayed by Hiroshi Kashiwagi, and featuring Grateful Crane's Helen and Michael Palma.
Grace, what are you doing?
Locking the door.
Don't do that.
Why not?
Well, this is a public place.
Oh, no one comes here to iron anyway, especially this late.
Then why are you locking the door?
Just being careful. We don't want people barging in on us.
I still don't think it's right. You know, I thought you were going to iron aprons.
I am, and you're going to help me fold them.
What's that doing here?
I don't know what you mean.
Don't pretend, Grace. The phonograph.
Well, since you were doing so well last time, I thought we'd practice some more.
No.
Why not?
Well, I told you the last time, Grace. I'm not interested in dancing.
That's a shame. You were just beginning to catch on. It could be fun.
Hey, those are starched, aren't they? Why do you have to starch aprons?
To make them look good. They're bleached too, you know.
Bleached?
Yes. Don't they look nice, so white and clean? Doesn't it make you feel good wearing them?
What?
Aprons when you're working in the mess hall.
Oh, I don't care.
You don't care?
No, I just put it on to protect my clothes, I guess.
Your jeans.
Yeah.
No, you put the apron on to look clean and neat in the kitchen, so the diners won't see your grubby jeans.
Is that so? Well, I didn't know that. Hey, are you getting paid for doing this?
No, I'm just helping my mother.
I'm surprised she's working as a washerwoman.
My mother likes to wash. She used to do the hotel laundry. Besides, she's the only one with a washing machine. That's why they gave her the job.
We never had a washing machine.
Oh? How did you wash? How did you do the wash then?
By hand. My mother did it by hand in the wash tub on Sundays.
That must have been quite a chore.
Well, we didn't change very often, maybe once a week.
Once a week? Is that it?
Yeah. Sometimes when I worked in the barn, I smelled like Gray, our horse.
You smelled like a horse?
Have you ever stood ankle deep in horse manure?
What?
I mean, with rubber boots on. I don't suppose you have. Well, not in Seattle. Well, I have. Hey, you want to hear about it?
No,
Yes, you do.
I don't really.
Well, I'll tell you anyways. It kind of feels funny at first, you know, like squishy and smelly. But then when you start working, you know, shoveling the manure like out the barn window, when you start getting into it, like sweating and smelling like the barn, you begin to like the work. Yeah.
Ah. Oh.
And then when you finish, when the barn's all clean, you feel clean yourself. You feel like you're part of the barn, like you belong there. And you feel close to the horse.
I've been on a horse.
Oh, yeah?
My father used to take me to the park and put me on the carousel.
What's that?
A merry-go-round.
Oh, a wooden horse.
It must be scary to be near a real horse.
Nah. Well, you have to let it know when you come near it, oh, especially from the back. Say, "Whoa, girl," or "Whoa, Gray," or something like that. The horse knows your voice and your friends. After all, you feed it, brush it, and groom it.
And clean out the...
Yeah. Just give it a slap on the rump and you can feel it quiver.
Now that you've cleaned out the barn, I'd like to see it.
You would? Nah, I don't know about that. Nah, I can't picture you in the barn. Chickens squawking, mice scurrying around.
Mice?
Sure. A city girl like you in the barn in high heels?
Don't be silly. I've been to a farm.
Oh, when?
When we went on field trips, I remember seeing chickens and dogs and rabbits.
Yeah, that's quite the farm.
Would you like to practice? Come on, Tack. Just give me a lead and I'll follow. That's right. Now give me a strong lead. Be decisive. Decisive.
Okay.
That's it. You're doing fine. Don't stop now, Tack. Tack.
Oh, darn it.
You were doing fine.
I'm no dancer.
Why didn't you learn?
Well, why should I? I mean, we lived 10 miles out. We were bussed in and dances were held after school, at nights mostly.
You missed out on a lot of fun.
What are you talking about? I didn't miss out on anything.
Didn't you want to go?
Hey, dances were for town kids, for Hakujin.
What did you do then?
I worked.
At nights?
No, after school. By night I was tired, and after a little homework, I went to bed.
I worked too.
You're kidding me.
No, I'm not.
I thought you were busy going to dances.
I worked as a night clerk in the hotel.
What's that?
I checked in guests.
Guests? It must have been a high-class place.
No, that's just a hotel expression. We even called bums guests.
Bums?
Yes, we had a few sometimes and other transients, cannery workers, sailors, but most were permanent guests, people I've known all my life, godparents and aunties. They were like family to me. Miss Alice, who taught me piano. Oh, holidays were the best. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter. We celebrated together.
So what else did you do?
Well, I gave out keys, but mostly I sat there.
Sounds like easy work.
Well, somebody had to be there.
Like a watchdog, huh?
Sort of. Had lots of time to study, read, listen to music. Oh, and I took messages too.
You mean telephone messages?
Yes.
Oh, yeah? I never used the telephone.
You haven't? I can't believe it. I didn't know California was so primitive. Where did you say you were from?
Paradise.
No running water.
Well, who said we didn't have running water? We had pipes inside.
But no inside toilets.
No.
And no telephones.
Well, it's still a good place. I'd go back right now if they'd let me.
Well, what did you do in an emergency?
Emergency?
When someone got sick. Oh, I know. You rode Gray to fetch the doctor.
Gray's a workhorse. You don't ride a workhorse. Hey, we had cars in emergencies. Other times we waited until we saw the person at school or in town. I mean, word got around fast enough. I think that was the warden. I'll leave it unlocked, okay?
Whew. Do you have any friends outside?
You mean the warden?
No, back home.
Oh, nah, not a one. What about you?
I have quite a few friends. Those I grew up with, those I met at the university, and of course my family at the hotel.
And they write to you, I suppose?
All the time. They keep me busy answering them.
I hope you tell them about the miserable conditions here.
I tell them the truth.
Bet you doctor it up.
What do you mean?
Well, did you tell them that we have bologna every other day and it's horse meat?
That's not true.
You didn't know?
No?
And you've been eating bologna?
Oh!
No more bologna sandwiches for you, I see. I hear the apple butter's good. That's what the kids live on. Did you tell them about us?
About us?
Yeah, you and me.
Oh, they know I met someone in camp.
A country boy from California.
Yes.
Well, that's me. That we've become good friends?
Well...
They'll drop you.
Who?
Well, your friends outside.
No, they won't.
Well, they're Hakujin, aren't they?
Yes.
They'll forget you.
But they're my friends.
Don't be too sure.
Just because you don't have any friends, I mean outside.
Who needs them? I had a friend once, Paul.
Oh?
He died.
Well, what happened?
I guess I knew him best in grammar school. He kept wanting me to sit next to him, and I kept wondering why. I didn't see him much after we got to high school. Paul was always crazy about airplanes and flying, and finally he learned to fly and joined the RAF. He was shot down over Germany and died before the war even started. Hey, cut that out!
Don't you like showers?
What do you mean? Are you telling me I should shower?
Well...
Yes, you are. Oh, I'd shower once in a while, but every time I do, I think about the bath that we used to take back at home. Furo? Japanese tub bath? Oh, have you ever been in a furo?
Furo?
Oh, you have been missing something. That's nothing like the showers here in camp. Oh, we country folks don't like showers. It's so open. Standing around naked in front of everybody. Why, the other day I was in the shower, and who do you think was there? My Japanese language teacher from back home. I was more embarrassed for him. He looks so vulnerable, standing there in a fig leaf pose. I didn't know whether to greet him or not. He never taught us shower etiquette. But you never get warm in the shower. Here, I'll take you to our furo. Okay. Imagine this. It's winter, but you have on a yukata. The cotton robe? Inside it's dimly lit. Oh, never mind the soot and the cobwebs. That's all part of the furo. Now take off your yukata and hang it on a nail. And take a stool and sit. Now scoop some water from the tub and soap yourself and wash thoroughly. Now, before you step in the tub, try the water with your toes. Ooh, if it's too hot, add a little cold water, but leave it a little hot. Now, slowly slide yourself into the tub. That's it. It might be a little hot at first, but you'll get used to it. There you go. Now, for a nice long soak. Relaxing, isn't it? Careful you don't fall asleep, because when you step out, you're like a lobster, all red and steaming and tingling. Ooh, dry yourself quickly, put your yukata back on and hurry into the house. There's no heat in the house, and your room is like an icebox. So get in the bed quickly, and because you don't want to cool off. And lie under a mountain of futon. Nice and warm, huh?
Oh, Tag, that was so real. I feel like I've taken a fudo. Isn't it dull?
What?
Dishwashing.
I don't think so. The work's over before I know it. I like the guys I work with. We're a team. We're fast and efficient. And besides, when we get to eat before everyone else.
Is that all you think about?
Yeah.
Eating?
We get hotcakes right off the griddle, not that soggy stuff you get on the metal platter. And we get to eat as much as we want. And hey, eating's important here. Nourishment for the body.
What about your brain?
What about it? My brain's okay.
Don't you think it could use some exercise?
Well, it gets enough exercise talking with you.
You could do better.
Oh, knock it off, Grace. You remind me of a Hakujin, so pushy.
Well, you don't have to waste your time here.
Well, I want to do better. I mean, that's why I took the speech class.
Yes, I thought you were the best speaker in the class.
Oh, you're just saying that?
Honestly, Tab, people like listening to you. What you say is interesting.
Stop it, Grace.
I mean it. You should be working at the dispatch.
Oh, and work with those smart college guys who think they're so special.
Most of them have only been to college a year or so. They're all right once you get to know them.
Grace, how do you think I feel? I'm just...
A farm boy. Tag, you have to stop thinking like that. You do all right with me.
Well, we know each other.
You see?
What can I do at the dispatch anyway?
You could write.
Right?
You probably write better than the college guys on the staff. I'm always correcting their copy, and I'm just a typist.
You know, I bet you're the best one on the staff. You know, you should be the editor. You'd be the editor if you were a male.
Well, we could be working together.
Yeah, but... You know,
why not?
it's too close to the ad building.
What do you mean?
Well, isn't the dispatch office across the fence?
Yes, but that
I don't feel right crossing the fence.
I do it every day. What's wrong with that?
Grace, what do you do there?
I'm a typist for the dispatch. I told you that.
People are suspicious of those who work across the fence.
That's nonsense, Tack, and you know it.
Oh, let's just drop the subject.
Okay, but I wouldn't want to be a pearl diver all my life.
A pearl diver?
A dishwasher.
I'd rather be a dishwasher than a stool pigeon.
You can't mean that.
Well, look at the dispatch.
What about the dispatch?
Well, aren't you part of the administration?
The dispatch is an autonomous paper.
Oh, don't use big words on me.
It means we're independent.
Well, independent of what? Look at what you print. Nothing but directives and announcements. I mean, you're working for the administration.
Everyone's working for the administration. As long as we live here and we're peaceful and law-abiding, we're serving the administration. So where do you get the idea we're stool pigeons? That's an awful thing to say.
Yeah, I know.
Then why did you?
Well, you work for Hakujin.
It's a job. I only do what I'm told to do. Tack, is there something about me?
Well, sometimes you act like a Hakujin.
How?
You're confident, you're sure of yourself. You know you're an American.
I am.
You act like you belong here.
I do. Don't you feel that way too?
I have to remind myself.
That you're an American?
Yeah.
I can't understand that. Oh, I admit we print a lot of announcements, but we try to make them clear and interesting. It isn't easy living here, and we try to reflect that. But mostly we try to make it easier for everyone.
Okay, Grace. I read the dispatch every day.
Do you find it interesting?
Well, you said it was about camp, and camp's no picnic.
How can we improve it?
What, the camp?
No, the paper.
Well, you can make up stories.
You mean fiction?
I guess.
Like Little Women?
Or like Tom Sawyer.
Heidi?
Robinson Crusoe.
Secret Garden?
Northwest Passage.
Black Beauty?
Moby Dick.
Pride and Prejudice?
Ooh, Last of the Mohicans.
Wuthering Heights?
Call of the Wild.
You know you have read a lot, Tack. When did you have the time?
Well, on rainy days when we couldn't go out.
Have you ever thought of going to college?
College? Nah.
You should. You don't want to be a farm boy forever.
What's wrong with being a farm boy?
Nothing. But you should widen your horizons, and college can do that.
Well, college is out of the question. my father being sick. But when they opened the student relocation here, I went to see about it.
You did?
Mm-hmm. Even before I could sit down, they asked me if I had $1,000.
So?
So I left. I never had $1,000 in my life. Did you apply? I guess you didn't because you're still here.
My father was in the detention camp at Santa Fe, and I didn't know what was going to happen to him. I didn't want to leave my mother alone.
Oh, yeah.
Tack, why don't you try again?
What for? I don't have the money.
Don't worry about the money. Now that my father's with us, I'll apply too. We'll go out together, okay?
You do that for me?
Sure.
May I have this dance, Miss Tamura?
Yes, Mr. Fujimoto. Where did you learn to dance like this?
From you. You taught me, remember?
What are we doing here?
Well, we're together and there's no one outside in this storm.
Privacy at last.
Yeah, with a curtain of dust.
I guess everyone's inside trying to keep the dust out the dust. I mean, covering the windows and plugging up the holes. But it's no use. The sand comes through the walls and it'll be everywhere. On the beds, tables, chairs, windowsills, clothing, and gritty underfoot.
Oh, God, and in your eyes and nostrils, too. Oh, look at that. Black. What a hellhole they put us in.
I'd hate to go back now. Mother will be in tears and Father will be cross.
Who can blame them? This is no place for humans.
It's the best reason for wanting to leave.
Yeah.
Tack, let's go outside.
We are outside.
I mean, out of here, out of this hellhole.
Grace, are you all right?
Of course I'm all right. Why do you ask?
Well, it's hard to stay sane in these conditions.
I'm all right. Don't worry about me.
Remember, there's the fence and the soldier up in the guard tower with itchy fingers, and a Jap near a fence would be a nice, easy target.
I meant walk out through the front gate with the full blessings of the authorities. Then we'll be free to go anywhere we want.
You don't mean anywhere.
Well, no, but out of here. Tack, if you want to go to college, you can.
Wait a minute, Grace. Are you talking about the registration?
Yes, they're going to let us leave here. In fact, they want us to leave. That's why the questionnaire.
It's more complicated than that.
How can it be? If we're loyal Americans, what's so hard about declaring it? That's what they want to know.
This storm, this hellhole, do you like it? I mean, is this any way to treat Americans? I'm not going to sign anything just because they want me to.
I didn't know you felt that way.
Well, now you do.
You're not one of those fanatics who are pro-Japan, are you?
No, but I know some people who are.
You do?
Yeah, they have a right to feel that way. My uncle's one of them. His wife and children are in Japan. I try not to listen to him.
Ooh.
It's impossible to talk out here with all this dust.
Tomorrow, why don't we meet at the dispatch office?
I'm not comfortable there.
No one will be there after work.
Yeah, sure.
I'll talk to Fred. Tell him I'll be working late.
Who's Fred?
Fred Williams, the reports officer.
Your boss?
Sort of.
Well, what about the gate? How'll I get through?
Here, take my pass. They know me, so I won't need it.
I don't know about this.
Oh, come on, Tack. It'll be quiet there, and we'll be alone.
Alone?
Yes.
I'll be there. Hey, there's something different about this place. What is it? I smell an Englishman.
Maybe Fred's English. Don't worry. He's not here. Nobody's here. Tack, you're like our dog.
You have a dog here?
He belongs to Fred, a burly St. Bernard, gentle as a baby. He's our mascot. His name is...
Don't tell me. Tiny.
How did you know?
Well, simple. Just like the dispatch. No imagination.
Would you like some juice? I think we have some in the refrigerator.
How about a hamburger and a milkshake?
Sorry, the best I can do is coffee.
Well, you gotta do better than that.
Well then, let me see. How about canoeing?
Canoeing?
Yes, on Lake Washington.
Okay.
Easy. You're on a boat, remember?
Oh, yeah. Safe?
I think so. Got your oar?
Uh-huh.
This is how you do it. You go deep in the water, full paddle up, keeping your weight parallel to the water. Got it? Yes. Now switch. This way you stay in a straight line. Yes. What's that?
Ooh, where? Oh, fish! Invasion! The rising sun! Come on, let's go.
Tack! Get up.
Oh, you saved me. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for the ride.
Ah, anytime. There's lots of space here.
I'll give you a tour later. The lounge is back there. The editorial room is beyond Fred's office, but I do most of my work here.
Did he write the registration order?
Who, Fred? No, that came from Washington.
The mess crew and about 20 other guys in our block decided not to register.
When did that happen?
Last night at our block meeting.
And your decision?
To go along with them.
How does your family feel?
My mother's worried. She wants to keep the family together. She depends on me. Too much.
And your father?
I don't know. He's in a hospital outside. He's leaving the decision up to me.
You'll be going against orders if you don't register.
I know.
They can put you in jail.
Hey, we're already in jail.
But they can put you in the stockade. You want to risk that?
Well, I thought I'm an American.
Yes, you are. You're loyal to your country, and of course you'll defend it. That's all they want to know. Why can't you tell them that?
Why should I?
You're just making it difficult for yourself.
Oh, Grace, you're being so Japanese.
You said I was too Hakuji. Now you're saying I'm too Japanese?
Well, I mean, you're so accommodating. When you used to go to your parties, your fancy Hakujin parties that you talked about.
What does that have got to do with this?
I bet you brought the most expensive gift. I bet you were the best mannered and the most agreeable person there. And the lady said, "Oh, you Japanese are so polite."
What's wrong with being polite?
I bet you even stayed late to help clean up, huh?
Tack, you're a bore.
What's that?
An animal. Tack, what's the matter with you?
There's a lot you don't know about me, Grace. Look, I'll tell you something. When I used to ride the bus to school, there was this guy who would snap my ear from behind. Well, I looked straight ahead and I never turned around, even though my ear was burning. I knew he wanted to start something and I wouldn't give him that satisfaction. But I was also afraid of the barrage of Japs that would rain on me if I did anything. I could feel the sting go away, but inside I was sick and miserable because I had to take it.
And refusing to register is your way of fighting back?
Yeah, for all the insults I've taken, for all the times I was called a Jap. Hey, it's a good feeling. I never knew it could be so good. It's liberating. Is that the word, Grace? Right?
Tack, be reasonable. Not registering is like saying no to the questions. You'll be labeled a disloyal. You'll be put in jail or even sent to Japan. You don't want that, do you? Think about it. Think about it, Tack.
I could only think of Howard.
Howard?
Yeah, the bully who used to torment me. Every time he saw me, he would laugh at me. He had those long arms. One time when I was passing by, he socked me right in the chest. My chest ached for months. I thought it would never go away.
Maybe he liked you.
Liked me?
Have you ever thought of that?
How could he like me?
People have strange ways of expressing themselves sometimes.
You mean Hakujin?
Not necessarily.
What are you gonna do about the questions?
My father's been after me to register.
Yeah, but he was arrested by the FBI and held as a dangerous alien. Why would he want you to register?
He thinks it's the right thing to do. I've been making excuses and holding out.
Waiting for me?
Never gone against him.
Well, don't start now because I'm not gonna register.
Sometimes I wish we'd never met.
Well, the camp brought us together.
We're so different. What's gonna happen to us?
I don't know.
Let's pretend nothing's happening out there. Let's pretend we're in Seattle.
Yeah?
You drive up in a car.
What car?
You have to have a car to go on a date.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We'll have dinner at a nice restaurant. Let's see, where could we go? Ah, the Olympic Hotel.
Is that good?
The best in Seattle.
Oh. Have you ever been here before?
Yes, I come here every now and then.
Ooh, who's that guy in the funny suit?
He's the waiter.
Yeah, I'd rather go to a drive-in movie.
After our elegant dinner.
How about some wine?
That's a water glass.
Oh.
Besides, you'll need an ID to prove you're 21.
Well, I've got this pass that proves I'm you.
Wasn't that a lovely dinner?
It was okay. Now we'll get a hamburger after the movie. And at the movie, we'll sit close together and I'll put my arm around you and tell you how beautiful you are. What's the matter?
Nothing.
Did I do something wrong?
No.
What is it, Grace?
You know why they put us in camp, don't you? Because they didn't trust us. Well, the registration is a way out for us. It's a way we can prove we're good Americans.
We're not good Americans?
They want proof.
Why do we have to prove ourselves over and over again? Look, aren't we good enough the way we are? I'm sick of saying yes to everything. Yes, I'll go to camp. Yes, I'll register. Yes, I'll declare my loyalty. Yes, I'll serve in the army and prove I'm a loyal, patriotic American.
People are making a commitment to go to war and putting their lives on the line. It takes courage to make such a commitment.
Then why were you mocking it?
No, then why were you mocking it?
I wasn't mocking anything. I was just making a point. Look, I'm proving my loyalty by fighting for my rights.
Tak, how do you feel about the draft? You know the question asks if you're willing to serve in the army.
I know what the questions ask, Grace. I mean, what are you driving at? That I'm trying to evade the draft? That I'm afraid of killing and dying? Are you saying I'm a coward?
No.
But you thought it. It's all right. It's all right. Maybe you're right. I don't know. It's so mixed up. I don't like the idea of killing. I never have.
On that morning we left Seattle, the residents fixed breakfast for Mother and me.
To go to war, you have to be convinced it's right.
And we all sat together and ate together.
There can't be any doubt. You can't even think about it.
The table was beautifully set.
Just march to the drumbeat.
Lace tablecloth, our best silver and chinaware, crystal.
I think I could be trained to be a soldier. Learn to kill and be killed.
They even had flowers and they played my favorite Baroque music.
Just listen to the drumbeat.
I can almost hear it now.
On the day before we left, I slaughtered a flock of my Rhode Island Reds I had raised from chicks. I didn't want to sell them and I didn't want to leave them.
We didn't know when we would see each other again.
So I chopped off their heads. Blood splattered on my hands.
They said they would be waiting for us.
I could feel the powerful struggle for life and I could feel that life going out.
No, I'm not so sure.
I don't want to break with you. I don't want to do that. Grace, I love you.
I love you too, Tak.
Let's close out everything. You and me.
And promise never to part?
Yes. Hi, Grace.
Is the game over already?
Yeah, we won. No thanks to me.
What happened?
I misjudged the fly ball. Oh, it was so embarrassing. I could have died out there. Wasn't that beautiful last night?
Yes, it was.
It's the best thing that happened to me in camp.
Remember the concert?
What concert?
The classical record concert.
Oh, yeah, but why are you bringing that up now?
Well, it's the first time we met.
Was it? I used to see you at softball games. You were with Mary, what's her name?
Shimada.
I saw you cheering when I got a base hit.
And laughing when you struck out.
Aw.
What were you doing at the concert anyhow?
Didn't you expect to see me there?
Frankly, no.
Why not? I mean, I hadn't heard much music before. Maybe some hillbilly songs on the radio. I was just curious about the classical stuff.
I guess I was curious about you.
Say, I noticed that. You started talking to me right away. You told me you were taking a course in public speaking.
And what do you know? You showed up the next night.
Well, you made it sound so good.
I learned a lot about you from your speeches.
I didn't know what to say. You all look so smart.
Did we?
Well, you spoke good English, using big words I've never heard before. I mean, some of you had fancy eyeglasses on.
You told us about Gray and about your goat, how you had to milk it every day and how you hated the milk.
That was Pinto.
How you were driving when you were 9 years old.
Well, only on the back roads.
That was 2 months ago.
And we've become good friends. It'll be great living in the country. You'll like it, Grace.
Wait, Tack.
Do you like kids?
What?
What? I love you, Grace.
Tack,
Grace?
I have to be honest with you.
What is it?
Tack, I can't see you anymore.
What?
I'm sorry.
But last night...
I know.
Grace, you can't do this to me. I love you.
No, Tack.
You love me too. You said so last night.
Yes, but I can't. I just
Why?
can't. I've decided to register.
But we agreed last night.
Tack, I've thought about it again.
You're not being honest at all.
No, Tack. If I don't register, I'd be going against myself. Everything I believe in, everything that my father...
You've been talking to him again? Why do you do that?
Because he's my father.
And you still think he's right?
He's always been right.
Yeah, telling people to register, to volunteer for the army.
He believes in America, right
After
or
what
wrong.
he went through, picked up by the FBI?
All community leaders were taken.
And then put in internment camps for enemy aliens?
He was released.
Waving the American flag. With leaders like him, it's no wonder we're second-class citizens.
Tack, you don't know my father. He's always believed in America. That's why he went to school, took the trouble to learn English, worked and saved his money to invest in business, to start a new life here. He did this not only for himself, but for his family. For me. He always taught me to be an American. A good American.
Then why are we here?
He always made me believe that there was a future here in America.
Grace, why are we here in camp?
We were caught in a war with Japan.
We were all caught, all right. I mean, put behind barbed wire.
Someday the war will be over and we'll be out of here. There is life after camp, you know.
Yeah, as second-class citizens. Well, it's gonna stop right now.
What about the penalties for violating the Espionage Act? $10,000 or 20 years in prison or both?
That stuff you guys at the Dispatch printed. All lies and threats to break down the resistance.
Are you sure?
That's a chance I'll take.
If you resist the registration, you'll be labeled a disloyal American. You don't want that hanging over your head the rest of your life, do you?
I'm defending my rights as a citizen. Does that make me disloyal?
Tack, there's a future out there. If we do anything rash, we could jeopardize that future.
Grace, whose future are we talking about? Yours? Because certainly not mine and not ours.
I know we've been wronged, but I believe America will make it up to us. I trust my country.
You mean you trust your father?
Leave my father out of this.
Then what about the promise we made last night? What about it, Grace?
Oh, Tack.
I knew it was too good to be true. Back in kindergarten, when I could barely speak English, I learned the Pledge of Allegiance from a teacher who came in every morning riding a horse. Good morning, children. Good morning, Miss Moore. We recited the Pledge of Allegiance every morning at the beginning of school. Through the years, I've recited it 1,000 times. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of
the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You'll have to take it black. I'm all out of cream.
That's fine.
Good. I guess I don't do much cooking around here.
I'm sorry to put you to trouble.
No, it's no trouble.
Is that your son?
Yeah. Tommy.
I'm sorry.
Maybe later.
Surprised to see me?
Well, you never know who'll show up at a camp reunion.
I thought you might be registered.
Registered?
Something wrong?
No, it's just the word. I hadn't heard it in years. Registration, remember?
Oh, you mean in camp? How could I forget it?
Well, how could we forget it?
Well,
I'm sorry, you were saying?
I thought surely you'd be at the reunion. You live here in Fresno. I came all the way from Chicago.
Well, reunions...
You get to see all your old friends in one place at one time.
Yeah, people you haven't seen in 40 years.
Time has gone by, hasn't it?
That's it. You notice how different people look and how old...
Well, we all look older. It's only natural.
I know. But reunions remind me too much of life already spent.
On the other hand, reunions could be a renewal. After all, we're not that decrepit. We still have some good years left.
I never thought of it that way. You're right, Grace.
Actually, I came for the redress campaign.
That's right. You told me on the phone.
I understand you're not involved?
No, I'm not.
Why not, Tack?
Well, the farms take up a lot of my time and...
Guess I'll have to convince you how important that is.
Is that why you showed up all of a sudden?
We all need the support we can get.
Here, I thought you came to see me.
Well, I hoped I could see you.
Is that right?
I knew there was a good chance of seeing you.
I've often wondered about you.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't come to talk about the past.
Yeah. Hey, you're looking great.
Thanks.
You were always sophisticated, but now you're a little bit more.
Yes, a little bit more.
I didn't mean that. You have class, Grace. Foxy, as the kids say.
Oh, stop that.
You really haven't changed much, Grace.
Oh, I have. After all, it's been 40 years and a lot of living. Marriage, children.
How many?
2 daughters and 3 grandchildren. And you?
A boy and a girl, their kids. Let's see, 5, I guess?
5 grandchildren. You and your wife must be very proud.
Oh, my ex-wife.
Oh, yes.
And you're a widow.
Is there something?
Well, I was just thinking, you could have been my wife.
Stop that.
You're into some kind of writing?
I'm an editor for a publishing house.
I'm impressed.
It's only a small company.
You've done all right for yourself. You remember how I told you in camp that you should be the editor of the Dispatch? You remember that?
Yes, I do. You haven't changed much yourself, Tack.
All gray.
Gray?
Something wrong?
Oh, no. It's just when you said gray, I was reminded of the horse. You know, the one you used to talk so much about.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
You certainly told me a lot about her.
Oh, good old Gray. I heard she was replaced by a ranch truck during the war. I never did see her again. We didn't go back to Paradise, you know.
You settled here in Fresno after camp?
Yeah, and we worked as farm laborers for 5 years. My mother, my brother, and I, and we saved enough to buy our first ranch.
And your father was still in the hospital?
Yeah. Once we brought him home for a visit. He stayed a week, you know. He just couldn't stay still. He had to go outside and walk around the ranch and get a feel of it. He always wanted a place of his own, and I think we made him happy. He died soon after that.
Now you're a famous man, a powerful farm leader I read about all the time.
Do you?
Yes, even in the Chicago Tribune.
Chicago Tribune, huh? Well, I'm still a farmer with mud on my shoes.
Presidents of the Farmers League?
12 years now.
That long.
They won't let me quit.
That was some achievement, holding back the union.
No, we had to. If we let them push us out, we're gone. The corporations would have moved in. You know, we're all small to mid-sized independent farmers. We've lived and worked on the farms for, what, 20, 30 years? They thought that they could run us out, but they didn't know how tough we could be. Hell, we even surprised ourselves. We organized and closed ranks.
Oh, who would have thought that you, Tack, would be fighting the union?
What do you mean?
Well, you said you worked for 5 years.
Well, that's what I said. I've been a worker all my life. Look at my hands. These are working man's hands.
And what about the workers now?
What about them?
Aren't they the victims?
Say, whose side are you on?
Workers have their rights, you know. Good working conditions and wages that they can live on.
They get decent wages. It's not like when I was working. We take good care of our workers.
What about housing and health care and education for the kids?
We do what we can. We don't run a welfare agency.
Aren't the workers Mexicans?
I know what you're driving at. Hey, we run a business and we take risks. It's always a gamble for us. We can't be worried about people's nationality or race. The bottom line is...
profits.
Grace, you remind me of those young people marching in picket lines, waving placards, looking good on TV. You know, young liberals who never did a lick of work in their lives.
Oh, you're wrong, Tack. You're very wrong. Ever since the children were old enough to go to school, I've been in the workforce. I helped raise our 2 daughters. After Herb died, I've been on my own. I started as a fire clerk and worked my way up in the company. I've paid my dues. I know what it means to be a worker.
I see we've come a long way. Can I get you something?
No, around about now, I get a craving for a cigarette.
Oh, go right ahead.
It's all right, it's all right.
I used to smoke. I quit when our first child was conceived. You know, when all that talk about cancer first came out.
I quit too after my husband died. Actually, I'd started in self-defense. He was a heavy smoker. Smoking took the place of talking. It filled up space.
You mean you didn't talk? I'm sorry, that was dumb.
It's all right. We had our problems, as in most marriages.
How long has it been since your husband died?
5 years. By the way, thanks for the telegram you sent to me.
You already thanked me in your letter.
It meant a lot. How did you know about Herb's death?
I saw it in the Pacific Citizen.
Oh? I didn't think you were a member of the JCL.
I'm not. Remember, they disowned us no-nos. Yeah, the Japanese American Citizens League. I suppose you're a member?
Yes, I've been for a long time. Lately, I've been working with their redress movement.
Oh, yeah.
Tack, I'm sure you have a lot of influence, especially among the farmers.
Well, I'm kind of busy.
This is important to all of us.
Camp was a long time ago.
I know it was.
Why bring it up now?
Why not bring it up?
We're doing all right. Yeah, leave well enough alone, I'd say. It was painful enough when we lived through it.
Yes, we all suffered. But unless we make our feelings known, nobody will know or even care about what happened to us.
Why are you saying this now?
Because it affected our lives. And we're still paying for it even now. Tack, we never did anything wrong. It was the government that treated us like criminals, and they should take responsibility for that.
Hey, Grace, you've changed.
I thought you said I hadn't changed.
I mean, your attitude towards the government.
I felt this way in camp.
Did you? Then why did we break up?
Please, Tack.
Or was it your father?
What about my father?
Well, he was pro-America. He tried to influence others and you listened to him.
Why do you blame him?
Because he broke us up.
No, Tack. Believe me, it was my decision.
To break our promise?
Tack, that was over 40 years ago.
I know it was. What happened to your father?
He's gone now. He died a few years ago.
I mean, after camp.
He resettled in the East.
Did he go back to Seattle?
He did once.
What happened?
He decided to live in the East. How did your son die?
Vietnam.
Oh.
I feel like a drink. Would you care for something? Wine?
Oh, no, thank you.
I'm supposed to ask you 3 times.
Oh, and I'm supposed to refuse?
Yeah, even if you're dying for a drink. Are you?
Oh.
Mrs. Mori, would you care for something to drink?
No, thank you, Mr. Fujimoto.
Are you sure now?
Quite.
But I insist you join me in a drink.
In that case, would you have any sherry?
Ah, sherry. I think I might have some sherry.
He looked a lot like you, Tak.
People always said that. He always had a lot of friends. Mainly Hakujin.
Oh? Did you encourage that?
No, I didn't. Maybe Yuri did. Anyways, he was a friendly kid.
You were close to him?
Yeah. I suppose I was closer to him than to the others. Oh, he was a natural athlete. Basketball, baseball. Oh, it was a joy to watch him play. I could almost see him now. He always made the right moves.
Did he?
I guess he thought he did. He didn't know what to make of us, Yuri and me.
What do you mean?
Well, once he asked me why I hadn't been in the army.
Did you tell him about camp?
I tried to. Then my wife started making excuses for me and I got angry at her in front of Tommy. He started college when I was busiest with my work. You know, the farm, the work with the league. I didn't see him much, and I guess we lost touch. Then one day he said he was volunteering for the army. I told him he didn't have to do that. He could wait till he was drafted, but he wouldn't listen to me. I suspect he was talking with my wife.
What camp was your wife in?
She never went to camp. She comes from Colorado. Her family moved out here after the war.
Did she know you were a no-no?
I told her. She said it didn't matter.
But it did.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder why we married. All the time we were together, we never talked about camp. Can you imagine being married for 30 years, living together, eating together, sleeping together, making love, and not talk about a certain subject? Tommy was proof our marriage was wrong. By the time he was killed in action, our marriage was over. My son was ashamed of me. He was ashamed of me. He died trying to clear my name.
I don't know what to say.
There's nothing to say. Grace, have you ever thought about how it might have been if we had gone out of camp together?
I have on occasion.
Maybe we would have gone to college together. You're always on me about that. I would have gone to war. Yeah, I would have dodged bullets to prove my loyalty on the battlefield and come home a war hero with medals on my chest, only to find out that the battle had just begun. If I had returned a whole man, a miracle in itself, it would take more than a miracle to stay whole.
Stop it, Tak. Just stop it, please.
Are you all right, Grace?
I'm sorry. It's just that what you said was so close to home.
I didn't mean to upset you.
I'm all right now.
So, he was a war hero.
Yes, with the 442nd Regimental Combat Team.
You want to talk about it? You don't have to.
I was taken by Herb's war record, though he hated to talk about it. He just said he was lucky to be alive. We met at Northwestern when he was a GI student and I was working at the campus bookstore. We were married after he graduated. He was an accountant. A good one. But whenever it came time for a promotion, he was passed over.
Even as a veteran?
Golf was his passion.
So you were a golf widow?
Well, he had a heart attack on the golf course.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He died doing what he loved to do. I've always been a golf widow.
And you didn't mind?
No. The high point of his life, aside from his military years, was joining the country club. It took some doing.
More discrimination.
Yes. He went about it like it was another war. My husband was a man who risked his life over and over again to prove his loyalty, only to come back to a country that couldn't tell the difference between him, a war hero, and the enemy.
And you stuck by him?
I didn't want him to stop believing that he had made a difference.
He did make a difference.
What?
Yeah, he made a difference for all of us.
You really mean that, don't you?
Of course I do.
You were a no-no.
Yeah. I made my statement 40 years ago when I resisted the registration order and I was called a disloyal American. It wasn't popular, but I did it because I had to. Everyone does what he has to do, and your husband did what he had to do, and I respect him for it.
I'm glad to hear you say that, Tack.
Yeah, and Tommy did what he had to do. And what hurts is that being a no-no, I feel responsible for what he did.
But you blamed your wife.
No, I was responsible. I should have made Tommy understand.
That wasn't easy.
But Tommy's dead. I should have...
Oh, Tack, I wish there's something I could...
Yeah, I know.
That's quite an interesting footrest.
You like it?
Yes.
I made it for the furo.
Furo?
Yeah.
I still remember the furo you described for me once. It was so sensual. You disrobed me and put me in the tub.
No, did I do that?
Of course it was all imaginary.
Oh, yeah, imaginary. Wow. But I must have told you to wash yourself first. That's the first thing. You sit on this stool and you wash yourself well before you step in the tub.
Of course you did. I just forgot. Do you have a furo now?
No, not anymore. We used to at the old house when my mother was still living.
But I thought you hated showering.
Oh, that was in camp.
Remember how we used to look for places to be alone? In the shadow of a barrack, and the fire break during a dust storm? Remember that? And in the ironing room?
Yeah, the ironing room.
Remember how I used to iron aprons and dish towels so we could be alone in there?
Yeah, we got away with a lot too. The warden knew that we were up to, but he looked the other way. Once you even locked the door.
I don't remember that at all.
Oh, come on. Once you even had me go to the dispatch office when everyone had gone home. There we were, all alone in the office where you people printed all that propaganda that caused so much trouble in camp, and we made love. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
I've never forgotten it. The one beautiful moment in all that turmoil.
It's like a jewel in my memory.
Like a jewel, huh? Grace.
Yes.
I wish we could go back to that time.
Don't be silly.
Why not?
And relive all those unhappy days?
We had some good times.
No.
Well, what about now then? Even after all these years, we...
Please, Tack.
What's wrong, Grace?
Tack, do you remember when you and the others from Block 42 were rounded up?
Yeah, well, why do you bring that up?
Because you don't know what really happened.
I remember it was February 21st, 1943. 35 of us who had refused to register We're taken to the stockade at Bayonet Point.
Do you know what happened to us?
Well, I heard you and your family left camp soon after.
Yes, for our safety.
What happened?
That night after you were taken in, my father was walking home when he was chased by a gang of hoodlums. They caught up with him just as he got to our apartment, so Father sat down on the stoop and dared them to kill him. They left, but only after they spat on him, called him an America lover, a collaborator, an Inu, a dog.
I'm sorry.
Can you imagine how frightening that was? After that, we couldn't stay in camp. My boss at the dispatch arranged an army escort for us, and we hurriedly packed some clothes and left the following night.
I was in the county jail. I didn't know.
My father never got over it. He didn't seem to care anymore. He lost his hotels, you know.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They were in such bad shape. Hardly worth the taxes he had to pay, so he sold them all. At a loss, of course.
But with the housing shortage at the time, surely he could have,
I tried to tell him that.
Well, what happened to him? He was always an entrepreneur.
He spent the rest of his life as a caretaker of an estate.
Your father did that?
Yes.
Oh, why?
He was looking for peace of mind.
And did he find it? Or was he happy?
I don't know. He never let on to me, but Mother told me he was miserable. He was called George.
Humiliating. You said he went back to Seattle.
Yes.
Well, what happened in Seattle, Grace?
He was their leader, their advisor, their confidant. He represented them in court, wrote letters for them, helped them with business problems, gave them housing, found them jobs, took them to doctors, even brought them food when they were hungry. Yet, when he went back to Seattle after the war and tried to contact them, no one would speak to him, not even say hello.
Oh, can you blame them?
What?
Well, your father believed in America, right or wrong.
Don't tack. My father is dead.
Maybe he went too far. I mean, in camp.
Tack!
You know, Grace, I was warned not to associate with you in camp.
Because of my father? Why didn't you tell me?
Well, I knew how you felt about your father.
All the more you should have told me.
Well, I didn't want to hurt you.
You were being honest.
Well, you should talk.
So you tried to spare me?
You know, how are you doing? Your drink.
I'm all right.
Okay. 40 years and we're still talking about camp and the stupid registration. Isn't it about time we dropped the subject? It wasn't even necessary.
What wasn't necessary?
The registration.
What do you mean?
We didn't have to register.
You mean we didn't have to... Tack, you must be joking.
No, I'm not. Why would I joke about a thing like that? Didn't you know?
No, I didn't know.
Not many did, I guess. The authorities kept it from us to save face.
But what about all those threats and the arrests? You were arrested in jail for refusing to register.
Yes, I spent time in jail, but they released me because they couldn't hold me.
How do you know it wasn't compulsory?
Oh, I read it in a book after. I read about it in a book after camp, the years after I came out.
What book? Never mind. I should have known. But why are you telling me this now?
Well, I thought you knew.
Oh, Tack, I don't know what to think. I feel a cold wind. All those years. All those years.
Don't, Grace.
All those years.
Don't discredit
My
those years.
whole life. I was a perfectly loyal person, wasn't I? A loyal American doing exactly as my father, a super patriot, wanted me to. I did thinking I had to. Then I married a man who fought in the war, another patriot. It served me right to live with ghosts all those years.
Ghosts?
Ghosts, yes. That haunted and tormented my husband. All those nightmares. Oh,
Nightmares?
yes, nightmares. Oh, stop it, Herb. The war is over, can't you understand?
Grace.
You keep calling your buddies every night. I can't stand it anymore.
What are you saying, Grace?
Why did you die with them? Why didn't you die in Europe?
Grace, it's all right.
No.
But it's over.
Is it?
Oh, Grace.
Heck.
What is it, Grace?
That promise we once made.
Yeah?
I'm sorry, Tack.
Oh, Grace.
Will you forgive me?
Grace, it's all right.
The banquet. I better get ready to go.
Well, what's your hurry? There's plenty of time. Let's sit a minute. Here by the window. What do you see, Grace?
I don't understand.
Tell me what you see.
Well, the sunset.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
My mother used to sit here every day around this time, bathed in the soft glow of the sun. I often wondered what she was doing.
Maybe she was reliving her life.
Yeah, I think you're right, Grace. She seemed so happy whenever she was out there.
Was she happy? That's good. She was fortunate. What do you see, Tack?
You mean out there?
Yes, out there.
Well, I'll be darned. I see two lovers walking hand in hand. Yeah, and what do you know? One's an attractive woman who looks just like you, Grace.
And the other?
Oh, the other's an old farmer, gray hair, but he looks to be in pretty good shape.
Will you come with me to the reunion banquet?
Are you sure? I'm still a no-no, you know.
My daughters think the no-nos were the real heroes. And I agree.
Oh, well, thanks, but I'm no hero. I'm just a country boy from Paradise, California.
I'd like you to come as my guest.
Well, that should raise some eyebrows, especially here in Fresno.
I'll risk it. I'll go freshen up. About the redress campaign.
Yes. About the redress. I'm convinced it's important, and we've got to get it going. You can count on me, and I'll get those hard-headed farmers to support us.
Thanks, Tack. Thanks a lot.
Remember this?
Yes. You do pretty well, don't you?
Guess who taught me?
You were the awkward country boy who didn't care to dance.
That's not how I remember it.
For the time